Is an embryo a person? Here's what Nikki Haley has to say.
The Supreme Court there said that embryos created through IVF are considered children and are offered those same protections. Do you agree?
I mean, embryos to me are babies.
I want to make sure I understand. Wouldn't legislation like that have a chilling effect on what's possible for families?
I mean, I haven't seen any legislation yet.
Well, the kind that they're pushing in Alabama says that frozen embryos are protected as lives, unborn lives.
I mean, I would want to look at it and see what they're talking about, those that were viable versus those that are not, how they're treating that, how they're talking about that language. Those are all sensitive subjects where the details matter. And we need to look at the details, and we need to see where that is.
3 couples sued the Center of Reproductive Medicine in Alabama, claiming that their embryos, which were cryogenically stored, were wrongfully destroyed. So to recap, in 2020, a patient made their way into the lab that stored these embryos. This person attempted to hold the vials and apparently didn't realize how cold they were and burnt his hands, dropping and damaging the embryos. Now, the couples decided that they were going to sue based on an Alabama law that deals with the wrongful death of minors, trying to apply this law to their embryos. The big legal question was whether this law could be used for embryos not yet in the womb. The lower court said no, ruling that the embryos didn't count as children under the law, so the case was dismissed. The couples, of course, didn't give up. They took this to the higher courts, the Alabama Supreme Court. The higher court looked closely at the law and said, hey, it covers all kids, born or unborn, no matter where they're located. So this went against the lower court's decision and implied that the couples might have a valid case for the wrongful death claims. Now, Nikki Haley's position on abortion is nuanced. She identifies as a pro-life, yet she tolerates a pro-choice view. She supports finding a consensus on the timing of abortion. Regarding the Alabama Supreme Court's decision, Nikki Haley has clarified that she doesn't support the court's hearing.
Well, first of all, I didn't say that I agreed with the Alabama ruling. What the question that I was asked is, do I believe an embryo is a baby? I do think that if you look in the definition, an embryo is considered an unborn baby. And so, yes, I believe from my stance that that is. The difference is, and this is what I say about abortion as well, we need to treat these issues with the utmost respect. This case was based on and should be based on the rights of those parents for their embryos and to make sure that they have the responsibility with the doctors on how those are handled. Our goal is to always do what the parents want with their embryo. It is theirs. So any physician that is in control of those embryos, they owe it to those people to make sure they protect that embryo and that they do with that embryo what those parents want done with that embryo. That is the way we should look at that situation.
It seems she holds a personal belief that embryos are indeed babies, but she may have reservations about the legal implications of allowing parents to sue for wrongful death, particularly concerning how this could affect long-term IVF practices. Although the Supreme Court ruled in a way that aligns with her beliefs that embryos are babies, it's not entirely clear what she supports. What are your thoughts on this? Is this backtracking or is this Nikki Haley correcting the facts?